Just in here. Have some tea. Okay, yes. Thank you very much. I will. Hello. Is anyone there? Please! Is anyone there? Oh dear, my apologies. It's just that I heard something in the dark, and then you startled me. It must have been you scuffling or the maid's children, perhaps?
There are no children in this home, and I do not scuffle.
Really, but
This is an old house, sir. It makes many noises as it settles.
It must have been my imagination playing tricks on me. It has been a very trying evening.
I can only imagine it as if you are here to see me.
You must be Mr. Morgan. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me on such short notice.
Yes, of course. Please, sit down.
Yes, I would.
What can I do for you this evening, Mr. Carlyle?
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Morgan, I have a bit of a situation on my hands and was told that you were the man to see about it.
That all depends now, doesn't it? Tell me more about this situation that you have.
My lovely wife, Emily, has passed on.
My condolences.
Yes, thank you. She was a lovely woman.
When did this happen?
Earlier this evening, sir.
Then you are right. An Undertaker is, of course, the correct man for this situation. I'll assume you wanted to prepare her then, would you not?
Yes, I would, but...
I can send a carriage out to fetch her immediately if you will just give me the address.
That's the thing, sir! I don't know where she is.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Is anyone there?
No, it is just the house. Go on.
You will think I'm mad. That I should be locked up.
Try me. I hear many things as an Undertaker.
I don't even know if I can bring myself to say it. After she died, she still wasn't dead.
What do you mean?
She got up and started walking! As surely as I've ever seen anything in my life, Mr. Morgan, my dead wife got up and started walking!
Well, that does make it easier when they come to us.
This is no time for jokes, Mr. Morgan.
Are you sure she was dead? Perhaps she was merely unconscious.
No. She was dead. Cold and stiff. I was absolutely sure of it. I mean, she died in my arms. I checked her pulse. I left the room where she was for several hours, and when I came back, she was standing there, as pale as a ghost, smelling of death. She screamed at me and tried to harm me. I went running for the hills. When I came back, she was gone.
Dear me, you are in need of my assistance, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am. You can help me, can you not?
That depends. Tell me, how is your relationship with your lovely wife?
We loved each other. She would do anything for me and I for her.
And what was the manner of her death?
She took to an awful fever. I watched over her night and day for weeks, until she finally gave up the ghost. So I thought.
Fever, you say? Yes, that is tragic. Mr. Carlyle, are you aware of what day it is?
It is a Thursday?
Today, Mr. Carlyle, is October the 31st, All Hallows Eve. How much do you know about All Hallows Eve, Mr. Carlyle?
No more than any other fellow on the street, I suppose.
It is a very ancient and hallowed day. Tradition holds that on All Hallows Eve, the veil separating our world from the world of spirits is at its thinnest. It is said that on this day, the dead may walk, that the spirits of the departed may visit the earth, and that hobgoblins may enter our world to cause mischief and panic.
You mean to tell me this was? You've got to be joking! Tell me you're having a laugh, right?
Do not fear them. They hate the light and avoid it. As long as you are in the light, they cannot harm you.
This shoe! This cannot be real. I refuse to believe any of it.
I thought I told them to wait. Please, sit down, Mr. Carlyle. I can assure you, you are quite safe in the light. Shoo!
What's going on here, Mr. Morgan?
Tell me, Mr. Carlyle, how long were you and your wife married?
We were newlyweds. We've been married less than 6 months.
Such a pity. And your in-laws, well off, were they?
Yes. How did you know that?
I didn't. And have you notified the family?
No, of course not. I can't very well without the body now, can I?
And how did you propose to her?
What difference does it make if she's out there terrorizing the town? Well, what if she's talking to people? It's not decent! She'll cause a scene. We have to go and find her.
Oh, I think she will come to us.
And what makes you so certain?
Call it Undertaker's intuition.
Mr. Morgan, what is that sound?
Tell me, how did you propose to Emily?
I took her out to a field near town where we could see the stars. I told her that she married me, I'd give her the moon and the stars, that I would treat her right, and she agreed.
That was very romantic.
Yes, but I still don't see
And
what any
what
of this...
trait of Emily's did you most fancy?
Are you going to help me or not?
I am helping. Now tell me what trait of hers you most fancied.
There's her blonde hair, I suppose.
Her hair, then.
Yes?
I see. Yes. I think I can be of assistance to you, Mr. Carlyle.
Wonderful.
Let me begin by telling you a story. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young woman with long blonde hair who lived in a town not far from here. She came from a well-to-do family and was highly sought after by many suitors. Each one of them failed in their attempts to court her. Until one day, a new young man came to town. He was young, dashing, and genuine. That's what attracted her, she said, how genuine he appeared. They courted and were married the following spring. She thought her dreams had come true, that her happily ever after had come. Unfortunately, her bliss was cut short. She contracted a terrible fever and died shortly after their marriage.
Sounds like me and my Emily.
Yes, quite. Only she passed 6 years ago.
Mr. Morgan, what is that sound?
There is another tale, very similar to that happened in the town just over from ours 4 years ago. Very similar. A beautiful blonde, a dashing young man from out of town, a high-to-do wedding, and a beautiful woman, dead less than a year later. And the young man takes the money.
Mr. Morgan, where are you going with
The
all of this?
women regretted their deaths almost as much as they regretted marrying their husbands, whom they suspected of murdering them, poisoning them by degrees. You know. The interesting thing is that both of these tales are the same, right down to a beautiful blonde, an engagement story speaking of moon and stars, a fever, and a handkerchief embroidered with the man's family crest, something he carried with him everywhere he went, an heirloom of his father. That is a lovely handkerchief, Mr. Carlyle. Tell me, is that your family's crest embroidered at the corner?
You must know the families well, to have so much detail.
I have so much detail because I have heard these stories every Halloween night for the last 6 years out of the mouths of the two brides themselves. And if you hadn't arrived this evening, Mr. Carlyle, tonight would have been 7.
How's that?
Emily is not the first of your wives to get restless on Halloween night, Mr.
I'm
Carlyle.
afraid I don't understand what you're talking about.
The dead have always sought me out ever since I was a child. They find me, tell me their stories. Why do you think I became an Undertaker? I understand them, and I undertake to help them where I can.
What is that sound, Mr. Morgan?
They're here.
Who's here?
Your wives. Wouldn't you like to talk to them? I'm sure they'd have a lot to say to you.
This is mad!
That would be the first. That would be the second.
What is that?
Oh, I think you know, Mr. Carlyle. That would be the third. We've been waiting for you for a very long time, Mr. Carlyle.
Miss, get off the roof! Please, let me go!
Remember, Mr. Carlyle, you are quite safe as long as you remain in the light. Pity. What's that? My next appointment is here. Yes, please, show them in.